Yeah, my name's Ross Sutherland, and I'm a poet and filmmaker, possibly. I guess one of the things that really interests me is just that point where kind of poetry meets kind of modern technology. It's been something that's changed a lot in the last sort of, well, even 5 years really. I like working with kind of portals like YouTube and trying to kind of take what initially like I write for the page and try and give it like an extra kind of like visual element. And I don't think they end up being just poems anymore. I think it becomes like a different genre. It's a poem film at that point, and that has its own kind of criteria of what makes a good one and a bad one. And I've made plenty of bad ones, that's for sure. But I think one of the things I kind of learned over a while is that you can't overload like these things with too much kind of like visual stuff, because it just becomes a little bit like two people shouting at once. I think a breakthrough point for me came a couple of years ago when I found out about this writing movement which started in the 1960s called the Oulipo. A bunch of French writers, kind of half mathematicians and half authors, and they were kind of interested in coming up with new kind of forms for writing poetry. They kind of thought that the sonnet and the haiku were kind of played out, and they wanted to kind of make new forms to kind of work around. One of those forms was was called a univocalism, which is a poem that only contains one vowel, which me and some of my friends, we all had a go at it, you know, so we all wrote poems. I wrote one that only uses O. For example, Rob shows Gordon how to body pop. Slow Robocop Foxtrot to Bobby Brown, that kind of stuff. So we kind of wrote those kind of things, and we really enjoyed the challenge of just having all these constraints put on it. And at that point, poetry started to feel to me, rather than this just core kind of, you know, me going up a mountain and coming back down with this kind of indisputable truth, which, you know, I don't have. It actually felt more like a kind of a game, you know, and like a kind of puzzle to be solved. So I would often, from now on actually, since then, even when I'm not using like a direct constraint, like I'm always approaching poems like a puzzle to be solved. You set the rules, you set the parameters, and then you try and find something to say inside it. And what that's helped me do is to start poems without knowing how they're going to end. I think that's something that rules can do. They can force you off the beaten path. You're no longer ploughing old familiar furrows. It's a voyage of discovery.